couldn't stand what we dream, giving me music like drugs in the hand of a fiend. They shoot it up, see me on the TV, the cuties they wanna fuck. Both presidential just plus and cooped it up. Got more hits in the zip, who wanna know? I can go back in time, you can judge.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I hope you've had a good Odoo experience so far. My name is Victorine. As you can see, I work for Odoo. I'm business analyst and functional consultant. So today we are all here to talk about one of the major applications of Odoo, which is the manufacturing application. As you already know, managing a manufacturing company is a real challenge. Because sometimes when you produce something, you can quickly have really complicated, really complex workflows with many, many different steps that involve many different components, many different people, different machines at the same time, and in very different places in the factory. So as a manager, it can be really complex to know what you have to do to ensure a smooth and an efficient production process. It can be really difficult to have a clear overview of everything that is going on in the factory, what has been produced, what will be produced, what is being produced. It's also not super easy to have accurate information, real-time and accurate reporting, such as the cost of the production, the time required for each operation, what is going well, what is not going so well, what needs to be improved, and so on. So as a manager or a responsible, if you have to manage everything, to take decisions based on wrong information or even assumption, then you will take wrong decisions, you will make mistakes, and you will lose money. And as a consultant, all my customers are always complaining about the mistakes the employees make every day. And I always tell them, well, if you were a worker, an employee, you really have to put yourself in your employer's shoes. If you were an employee and you had a very complex tool to use every day, something really complex, you don't know what you have to do, how, when, you don't know where you have to click to encode some information, and so on. Well, if you had that, probably you would do mistakes too. So if you have issues to have a whole overview and so on, to have accurate information, well, that's probably because you didn't provide the right tool to the employees, for example, Odoo. Thanks to Odoo, your workers can really have a very simple tool, something very simple, really clear, with, well, they can open the application and see directly what they have to do, how they have to do that, when they have to do that. Actually, they don't have time to think about what they have to do, where they have to click, if they have an issue with some components, with some machines, and so on. So the benefit of Odoo is that when they open the application, they know exactly what they have to do. They have clear guidelines for each operation they have to do. And that's great because you can really represent every single operation you have in the real life, in the real production process. And what is great too is that the manufacturing application is tablet-friendly, so you can really install tablets at every place in the factory, in every work center. That's very, very easy. And as a manager, thanks to that, you can get really accurate information, you can get real-time reporting, and you can use those reporting to know what is going well, what is going wrong, what should I improve, where in the production process, how should I do that, why, how, for who, and so on. So actually, to do something really efficient, really clear and very easy, you have to follow 3 steps. There are 3 things to configure in Odoo, and that's very, very easy. So the first thing you have to define, it's the work centers. So the different places in the factory in which operations are performed by the workers. And then for each work center, you have to list all the operations they have to do. And for each operation, you will have guidelines you will give to the workers. And finally, when you have all the operations listed, then you can define where and when and by who quality checks should be performed. Let's have a look at them in more detail. So first of all, for the work center, here you can see that it's the form view of a work center, and you have the possibility to configure some really important information. So first, you have here some information such as the time efficiency, capacity, OEE target. That's very, very important because those information will give you some reports. The reports you can access here. And you will have accurate reporting on, for example, the time during the production that is truly efficient, the time that is not efficient, and you will see why. Perhaps sometimes the workers don't have enough components to do the production. They will be able to mention it very quickly, and you will have the information in real time. You also have other information such as the time before production, the time after production, the cost per hour, and so on. So those information will allow you to get reporting about, to know the cost of your production for each operation and so on. And you can also see here that we have a direct link with the accounting. Next step is the creation of the routine. So the routine is really the list of operations the worker have to do. And you can see here that, for example, if we have to produce a table, we have 2 operations, quite simple. And you can see that for each operation, we can specify in which work center the operation should be performed. So we can use the previous configuration of the work center directly here in the routine. For each operation, so for each line you have here, you can set specific configuration. First, you can decide if you need all the products to be performed, to be processed in the previous operation before being allowed to start the next operation. For example, you could be allowed to start the next operation if you have at least 1 product processed in the first one. Then you can specify if you want to record the real time spent on each operation. And we will see in a few minutes what you can use in the work centers to do this. Then, and that's great, you can display the guidelines for the workers. You can display or a PDF with images, text, whatever you want, to say, okay, you have to do this, and then you have to do this, and this, and this. And we have a new functionality in V13, which is absolutely great. It's the integration with Google Slide. You simply have to copy the link of the presentation, and you paste it in the operation configuration. And that's great because it means that if you need to change something in the guidelines, in the instructions you give to the worker, you don't have to modify the PDF or create another one, upload it in Odoo again. Here, you can simply go to your presentation on Google, you modify it, and the changes are applied in real time in Odoo. And when the routine is set, you simply have to define where and when and by who quality checks should be performed. For example, here we have to check if the tabletop is not damaged, for example. And we will have to do this in the first assembly. So this is an operation I have defined on my routine here. Here it would be a simple pass or fail quality check, but you can do many, many different kinds of quality checks. It can be a measure, for example, it can be a text, it can be this one, it can be take a picture, print a label, and so on. What is great here is that you can also integrate the IoT box. If you have to take a measure of something, you can use the IoT box to connect to the device you have. And then the worker should not type the measure manually. He could simply use the device directly, and the measure would be set in Odoo. And when you have set everything here, you have a very simple tool your employees can use every day, and especially on tablets. So today, for the demonstration, we will use a table. We will produce a table. So I'm connected here with a user, which is for the manufacturing application only a user, so not a manager, so I will not have access to the configuration of the bill of material, the routing, and so on. But I can still check them. So if I enter the manufacturing application, I can see here that I have 4 work centers, and directly here I have access to many information, such as the OEE. So I can see here that I have reached my target because it's green. Here it's not reached because it's in red. And I should check the configuration of the painting station to check what was my target and why it's in red. I have a green button here, so it says that I have something to do, or I will have something to do. But we will check in a few minutes. Okay. So if I check the bill of material for my table, I didn't mention it, but we have a new functionality in V13, which allows you to have a more flexible consumption. For example, let's say that for this table, we need 1 tabletop, 4 table legs, and 10 screws. Let's say that sometimes we may need 12 screws, not 10, for some reason. Well, if I choose the option flexible here on the bill of material, I will be allowed to add 2 units of screws very easily during the production. Let's check the routing for the table. Okay. I can see that I have 3 steps. First, I will have to perform quality checks. Then I will have to assemble the table, and then I will have to paint the table, and it will be in the painting station work center. If I check the button here, I have access to all the quality checks I will have to do. So first I can see that I will have to check something for the screwdriver. Then I don't really know what I will have to do because the title is not explicit enough. And then I will have to do something regarding the table legs. Okay, let's produce a table. Okay. So let's say I am Mark and I arrive at the factory and I need to check what I have to produce. And I'm using tablets. Okay. So here I can see that I have orange buttons simply because I don't have anything to do in those work center. But for the assembly line 1 and the painting station, I have green buttons. If I check this one, I can see that I have something here. For the wood table 1 unit, I have the painting to do. But I cannot do it right now. It's waiting for another work order, simply because I have to build the table before. And if I check this one, it's the same. I can see everything I have to do right now and everything I will have to do when the other operation will be done. So if I want to check directly what I have to do, what is ready, I can click on the button to launch here. And I can see that I have the desk combination and the wood table. Here, I would like to build the table. So the first thing I have to do, I have to ensure that I'm using the new screwdriver with this reference. And I have a PDF with a picture showing me how the screwdriver should look like. OK, that's the right one. I can click on Pass. Then I have to check if the top and the legs are in good condition. Okay, if that's okay, I can click on pass. If that's not okay, if I have an issue, I can click on fail. Okay, and then I have a summary of everything I had to do for this operation. Both are a success and both are done. So I can click on mark as done. And now I can see here that I have a new operation to do, which is I have to assemble the table for one unit, and it's ready. It's ready because I did the quality check just before. So here, the first thing I have to do, I have to attach the legs to the table, as shown below. So here, I have the Google slide I have set on the operation. And I can easily check each page of the presentation to check all the steps. Here, I have a timer showing me the time for this operation. And actually, that will give me, as a manager, a really good information, really accurate, because it's really precise. That's the exact time to know how many times my workers need to do the production of my table. And when it's done, I can click on next. Okay. Here, well, let's say my table legs are tracked by lot. Here, let's say it was the lot 3. I can also use a barcode if I want to scan them to put the lot directly here. It was 4 units, okay. I can validate. If I have an issue here, let's say, for example, the legs are not here, or I have an issue with the machine, with the device, whatever, I can use this button here, and I can block the work center to say, okay, we cannot work anymore in this work center because, and you choose the reason here. And you can also scrap if I have a damaged leg, table leg, or ask for quality alert. Here, everything is fine, so I can click on validate. Okay, and now I have to record, to encode the lot for the screws. Well, let's say that today, usually I have to use 10 screws, but today I think that my table will not be stable enough if I use only 10. So I will decide to use 11 screws, but it was not planned in my bill of material because normally it should be 10. If I click on validate here, I'm saying to Odoo, okay, I have used only 10. But if I want to, I can click on continue consumption and say, okay, I have used 1 additional screw here, and it was this one, for example. And then I can click on validate. And again, I have a summary of everything I had to do, and everything is done. And if I try to click on mark as done, I have a pop-up telling me that I have to provide a lot or serial number for the final product, because every table I produce has a unique serial number. And we have a brand new functionality in V13. You can directly create the lot or the serial number by pressing this button. So imagine you are on a tablet, you just have to press, and that's it. This lot or serial number, the sequence is totally customizable. So if it's ABC 001, for example, I can do that. Here by default, it's this one. And when it's done, I can click on mark as done. Okay, and here, except the desk combination, but we will not do it today, I don't have anything else to do. But here, for my painting station, I can see that now I have something to launch here. Well, that's normal because I have built my table. Now I can paint it. And again, I have a Google slide here because I want my table to look like this. So I can check what I have to do, how I should paint the table, the colors I'm supposed to use, and so on, to have a beautiful table like this one. And when it's done, I can click on Markers Done and close MO. So I can directly, close the manufacturing order. It will be, the status will be done. Okay, and here I can see that the job is done. I don't have anything else to do. So as you can see, the interface here, the dashboard was designed to be very simple, so that when you enter the application, you directly know what you have to do. You can directly see the green buttons, what you have to launch, if there is an issue with the work center, and so on. And even during the production, you can see that it's always big buttons, it's really easy to press the buttons. And you don't have to think about, okay, I have an issue with the components, I have an issue with the machine, what am I supposed to do, on which button am I supposed to press, and so on. And if you are a manager, you would like to check the manufacturing order. It's this one. And I can see here that for the screw, the line is orange simply because I have used more units than the bill of material told me. It was 10, and I have used 11. Okay, so just a summary about the new features in V13 we have just saw together. So first, that's great, you can create your serial numbers and the lots on the fly. You don't have to click on create and configure everything. You simply have to press one button and it's done. You can record the exact production time, and you can see it with the timer, so you will get really precise information for reporting. You can also consume components with more flexibility, like the screws, if you need more than expected. And finally, you can also display the instruction on Google Slides. So if you have to do some changes, you can directly do them in Google, and it's only one step instead of two if you use PDF. We also have a brand new master production schedule tool, which is great. We had a talk this morning with my colleague William. You also have alternative work centers. For example, if some operation can be done in several work centers, whatever which one, you can configure that. You can also plan work orders for the future. You can access quality checks from product form and so on. We have many other new features, but we have other talks to present them. Today we have mainly checked the manufacturing application. Actually, you didn't see it, but we used inventory and quality as well. But actually, the manufacturing application is really integrated with all the other applications of Odoo, such as sales, purchases, maintenance, PLM, even accounting. So you can really use Odoo to perform all your daily operation, not just manufacturing, of course. So if you want to learn more about manufacturing or inventory, we had 2 talks this morning. You can watch them on YouTube. Today we have another talk implementing Odoo in a manufacturing company. It's here in Foyer du Lac. That's great because it's a real company that will explain how they have implemented manufacturing inside their company. So it's a concrete example. And then my colleague Oriane will present the subcontracting feature of manufacturing. And it's in the same room here. We also have workshops until Friday, so don't hesitate to walk through all the workshops. If you have specific questions for your business, my colleague will be able to answer them. Thank you.